CQ, calling all radio amateurs and shortwave listeners. This is GB2RS, the news broadcasting service of the RSGB, the Radio Society for Great Britain. It's read to you by G4NJH in Nottingham. Web references in the script can be found either on the RSGB website or attached to the podcast at gb2rs.podbean.com. This is GB2RS News for Sunday the 15th of September. Here are the main news headlines. The RSGB is looking for its next youth champion. Success for an RSGB member at the IARU ARDF Championship. Today is the last chance to book early bird tickets for the RSGB convention. The RSGB is looking for its next volunteer youth champion. This could be one role or split between people who focus on different aspects. The youth champion will work closely with the RSGB board liaison Ben Lloyd, GW4BML, and the RSGB outreach team to ignite interest, develop links with schools, universities, scouts, guides, and with the general public. They'll also help to support current young amateurs and motivate them to try new things within amateur radio after they gain their license. This role needs someone who is proactive, good at building relationships with young people, and passionate about inspiring the next generation of radio amateurs. For the full role description, go to rsgb.org/volunteers, and if you'd like to find out more, contact Ben Lloyd via gw4bml@rsgb.org.uk. The 24th IARU Region 1 ARDF Championships in Bulgaria saw an RSGB member on the podium. David Williams, M3WDD, took the silver medal position in the M60 category of the 144 MHz Classic 5-meter transmitter race at the championships held in Primorsko, Bulgaria. Earlier this month, David had come so very close to winning, being only 14 seconds behind the winner, Joseph Simicek of Slovakia. There were 4 races altogether. The week of competition started with the sprint race on 80 metres, followed the next day by the 2-metre 5 transmitter classic race for the M60 category, in which David did very well. A well-earned rest day followed, and after that came the 80-metre 5 transmitter race. The week ended with the FOXO ring event, a combination of direction finding and orienteering, again using the 80-metre band. You can see the result in full and read more about ARDF at rsgb.org/ARDF. Don't forget the RSGB Convention Early Bird Price ends today, Sunday the 15th of September. There's a range of great presentations planned, a fantastic microcontroller workshop to take part in, as well as all the fabulous social opportunities to enjoy, like the gala dinner. Go to the rsgb.org/convention to find out more and book your tickets. Have you ever tried LoRa, L-O-R-A, or Node Red? Have you used the Raspberry Pico for coding or played a Morse game with an Arduino? These are just some of the great activities on our RSGB website that are available for National Coding Week, which begins this Monday the 16th. Whether you fancy doing something different for a club night or would like to sample something new just for fun, there's an activity to inspire you. You could even try combining your love of amateur radio with the software interests of a young family member. The RSGB is offering 9 activities this year, so head over to rsgb.org/coding to get involved. The next Bletchley Park 1940s weekend takes place on the 21st and 22nd of September. If you're visiting for the event, make sure you drop into the RSGB National Radio Centre, where you'll be able to see a number of World War II receivers on display. Don't forget that RSGB members can get free entry to Bletchley Park, which also includes admission to the RSGB National Radio Centre. You can access this fantastic offer by logging into the RSGB membership portal via members and selecting Visit Bletchley Park. Don't forget that the National Hamfest 2024 comes up on the 27th and 28th of September and promises to be an unforgettable celebration of all things amateur radio. As always, the traders and manufacturers are lining up to bring you the best in amateur radio equipment and accessories. Many exhibitors will be offering exclusive deals, making it the perfect time to upgrade your gear and add new items to your shack. For more information and to purchase your tickets, visit nationalhamfest.org.uk. Now for details of rallies and events, the Broadcast Engineering Museum near Gainsborough in Lincolnshire is new and a work in progress, so it only opens a few days each year. Today from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. the museum is having an open day. The museum contains a vast collection of historic broadcasting equipment and memorabilia, some restored and working and on display in a former RAF Sergeant's Mess. Free parking available on site. More if you email contact us at becg.org.uk or visit the site. The British Vintage Wireless Society is holding a swap meet and auction day on the 15th at the Weatherley Centre, Eagle Farm Road, Biggleswade in Bedfordshire, SG188JH. Stall holders can gain entry from 9 a.m. Admission for visitors will be available from 9:30 a.m. and cost £8. The auction starts at 12:30 and hot and cold refreshments will be available. For more information, visit bvws.org.uk or email Jeremy Owen, G8MLK, or secretary at bvws.org.uk. The East Midlands Hammond Electronics Rally takes place on Saturday the 21st of September. The venue will be the Beckingham Village Hall, Southfield Lane, Doncaster, DN10 4FX. Doors open for visitors from 9:30 to 4 p.m. and admission will cost £3 per person. Disabled person's access will be available from 9:15 a.m. More details and information, including booking and contact details, visit g0raf.co.uk/rally. Weston-super-Mare Radio Society Radio and Electronics Rally takes place on Sunday the 22nd of September at 10 a.m. The venue will be the Campus Community Centre, Wall, Weston-super-Mare, BS247DX. Further info and to book a table, email Western Radio Society, or one word, at gmail.com. Special event news celebrating the GQRP Club's 50th anniversary. Special call sign G5LOW and all its regional variants will be QRV until the 30th of September. In addition, several overseas stations will be joining in the event. For more information, including details of commemorative certificates for chasers, visit tinyurl.com/GQRP50. Advance notice now that during October and November, special call sign PZ5JT will be back on the air from Suriname during the jungle training of the Royal Dutch Army and Marines. The station is operated by personnel from the Signal Regiment, and they'll be working on the 40, 20, 17, 15 and 10 metre bands using SSB. Operators will be using in-service military L3 Harris radios from different locations and will welcome your call. Now for the DX News, Carl Gorst 2E0HPI will be operating from multiple locations for the Parks on the Air scheme around the Lancashire area from tomorrow the 16th to Friday the From tomorrow the 16th to Friday the 20th of September, he'll be using a Yaesu FT857D and Shigu G90 transceivers with 20 watts. Listen out for Carl on all bands from 160 to 10 metres using FT4, FT8 and SSB. Maxim OH7 Oscar will be active as 3D2YY from Viti Levu, which is OC016. On Fiji until the 19th of September, he'll operate mostly SSB, some slow CW on the 40 to 10 metre bands and possibly 80 metre bands from different locations around the island. CQRZ.com for more information. Contest news today the 15th, the 70 MHz affiliated society contest runs 0900 to 1200 UTC using all modes on the 4 metre bands. The exchange's signal report, serial number and locator. Worked All Europe DX SSB contest started at 000 UTC on Saturday the 14th and runs until 23:59 UTC today, Sunday the 15th, using SSB, 80 to 10 metre bands, the exchange's signal report and serial number. Today the 15th, UK microwave group 24 to 76 GHz contest runs 0900 to 1700 UTC, all modes on 24 to 76 GHz frequencies. The exchange's signal report serial number and locator. Also today, the IRTS 70 cm counties contest runs from 1300 to 1330 UTC using SSB and FM on the 70 cm band. The exchange's signal report serial number and locator. Irish stations also give their county. The 2 metre counties contest is also taking place today, the 15th, 1300 to 1500 UTC, using SSB and FM on the 2 metre band. The exchange's signal report serial number and locator. Also today, the 15th, the British Amateur Radio Teledata Group Sprint PSK 63 contest runs 1700 to 2100 UTC, using PSK 63 on the 80 to 10 metre band. The exchange is your serial number. Tomorrow, the 16th, the RSGB FT4 contest runs 1900 to 2030 UTC FT4 on the 80 to 10 metre bands. The exchange is your report. On Tuesday, the 17th, the 1.3 gigs UK activity contest runs 1900 to 2130 UTC. All modes on the 1.3 gigs frequencies. The exchange's signal report serial number and locator. Thursday the 19th, the 70 megs UK activity contest runs 1900 to 2130 UTC. All modes on the 4 metre band. The exchange's signal report serial number and locator. On Sunday the 22nd, the practical wireless 70 megahertz contest runs 1200 to 1600 UTC. All modes on the 4 metre band. Exchange's signal report serial number and locator. Now for the radio propagation report compiled by GE0KYAG3 Wiley and G4BAO. They write, last week showed that HF conditions are improving as we head into the autumn. With a solar flux index still above 200, there was plenty of DX available to work. CDXC members reported working VP6WR on Pitcairn Islands, KH8T on American Samoa, and 3D2USU on Fiji, which is not a bad catch for early September. A little closer to home, 9A168 Tesla in Croatia has been popping up for short periods, celebrating the 168th anniversary of the birthday of electrical pioneer Nikola Tesla. Watch DX Summit closely for operating times. The daylight maximum usable frequency, or MUF, over 3,000 kilometres remains above 28 megs on the whole, although a raised KP index tends to reduce this. Geomagnetic conditions remain relatively calm, with a KP index below 3 all week. That changed on Thursday the 12th as material from a coronal mass ejection passed the ACE spacecraft in the early hours. The solar wind speed increased to more than 500 kilometres per second, and the BZ swung south. On Thursday the 12th, the KP index was 5, and the Met Office Space Weather Department was forecasting potentially unsettled conditions for this weekend ending today, the 15th. At the same time, an X-class flare occurred which lowered MUFs due to increased D-layer absorption. 2 large coronal holes on the Sun's surface are now Earth-facing and threaten to add to the solar wind this weekend. According to NOAA's prediction, the solar flux index should stay in the 210 to 225 range next week, although a large number of spots are about to rotate off the Sun's visible disk. This may be compensated by an active region that's about to rotate into view. This had been emitting C-class and lower-level M-class flares and could potentially be the same region that produced a number of energetic eruptions off the far side of the Sun over the past week. Time will tell. Now for VHF and up, the heavy showers at the end of last week produced some good rain scatter, but no QSOs in the UK were noted due to the showers not coinciding with gigahertz contests, and few suitable home stations were active to take advantage. After a gradual build-up of pressure over this weekend, ending the 15th, high pressure is suggested by most models during the coming week. However, there is some uncertainty about the position of the high. Currently, models are favouring the north of Britain, and this means that in the south, although still on the edge of high pressure, there could be a brisk northeasterly breeze which may weaken the inversion prospects. It's not clear if the Tropo will be functioning in time for the 70 megs affiliated societies contest. today the 15th, but should be helpful for the 1.3 gigs UK activity contest on Tuesday the 17th and the 70 megs UK activity contest on Thursday the 19th. Solar conditions are still likely to offer the chance of the occasional elevated KP index, which is a good sign of possible aurora. It'll be interesting to see how things evolve this weekend, as a series of expected CMEs are due to reach Earth. The amateur bands between 10 and 2 metres are the ones to check, as well as looking out for watery sounding signals on the HF bands. Remember, it doesn't have to be dark for radio aurora, so don't wait for dusk before checking. Meteor scatter is mainly down to random activity in the coming week. However, with the September Epsilon Perseids stream still active until the 21st, having peaked on the 9th, conditions may be slightly enhanced. For EME operators, moon declination is negative but rising to going positive again on Wednesday the 18th. Moon visibility windows will continue to rise, while path losses decrease as we approach perigee on Wednesday the 18th. 144 meg sky noise is moderate for the whole of next week. And that's it from the propagation team this week. That's all from me. Likewise, until next week.
This is ARRL Audio News, your weekly summary of news highlights from the world of amateur radio. If you retransmit audio news through a repeater, listen for the Morse code K character, followed by 4 seconds of silence. That's your cue to stop transmitting so that your repeater timer can reset.
I'm John Ross, KD8IDJ, and this is the ARRL Audio News for Friday, September 13th, 2024. ARRL has filed comments with the FCC urging that the 902 to 928 MHz amateur radio band be protected. ARRL joins hundreds of licensed radio amateurs who utilize the band in opposing a proposal from NextNav to completely reconfigure the band for high-powered 5G cellular and related location services. ARRL's comments were filed by our Washington, D.C. counsel on behalf of ARRL members and radio amateurs. They point out several problems with NextNav's request, including that pushing amateur radio out of the heavily used spectrum is a risk to public service. The FCC docket remains open for reply comments from the public until September 20th of 2024. And as of September 6th, over 800 comments have been filed by amateurs and others who use this spectrum. You can read the full comments on arrl.org. Ham radio operators volunteering with ARRL Amateur Radio Emergency Service, ARES, has successfully completed operations for Hurricane Francine, now a tropical depression. We had a huge positive showing of ARES team members checking in and doing the thing. I sincerely appreciate everyone leaning into this activation, said Robert Hayes, KC5IMN, Section Emergency Coordinator of the ARRL Mississippi Section. The National Hurricane Center reported at 4 a.m. on Thursday morning, September 12, 2024, that Hurricane Francine had made landfall early Wednesday evening in Louisiana, southwest of New Orleans, as a Category 2 hurricane before weakening to a Category 1 hurricane. It has now been downgraded to a tropical depression. Currently, the storm is moving inland over southeastern Louisiana with heavy rainfall spreading across Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. Early Thursday morning, the storm was 20 miles northwest of New Orleans with maximum winds of 50 miles per hour and moving northeast towards Mississippi at 14 miles per hour. At least 419,942 people were without power early Thursday morning. PowerOutage.us reported 392,440 people without power in Louisiana and 27,502 people in Mississippi without power. A turn towards the north-northeast and north is expected a few days from now, with some decrease in the forward speed. On the forecast track, the center of Francine is expected to move over central and northern portions of Mississippi through early Friday. The Hurricane WatchNet has secured operations but remains at the HWN Alert Level 2. That's the monitoring mode. During their 14-hour activation, Net Manager Bobby Graves said they collected and forwarded over 40 surface reports from southeastern Louisiana and the Mississippi Gulf Coast to the National Hurricane Center by way of WX4NHC. A copy of these reports is available upon request. Also, they had direct contact on many occasions with the Louisiana State EOC, WB5LHS, in Baton Rouge on 14.325 megahertz. The VoIP Hurricane Net has also secured formal net operations. They did that on Wednesday night, 11/24 at 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. A total of 58 reports were submitted to W4HNC. Some of them were used in the NHC advisories and tropical cyclone updates. A complete listing of reports is at the VoIP website. ARRL will continue to monitor the path of Francine and issue updates as warranted. September is National Preparedness Month. In coordination with our partners at the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, the ARRL Amateur Radio Emergency Service, ARES, is producing a series of weekly articles to help radio amateurs and their families stay safe. You can read our 2 previous articles at arrl.org. For a ham or any other public safety responder, whether paid or volunteer, it is not uncommon to be called out to provide assistance during disasters. We often do not know when we will be called or exactly when that call and what that call will involve. We also do not know how long we may be deployed. In the last edition, we focused on our Go Kit and the tools we should have to deploy as an amateur radio volunteer. But have we made sure our family is prepared for these times and whether we are deployed or will be staying home? As the theme of this month suggests, ARRL Director of Emergency Management Josh Johnston, KE5MHV, says it comes down to being prepared. Make a plan with your family and ensure basic supplies are available, including water, food, and first aid capabilities. Do you have a generator, alternate power capabilities, or do your family members know how to use it? Have a communications plan, including backup communications with family members and friends, he said. Johnston said that to ensure your family knows where to go if they must evacuate for some reason, always remember your family and your health and safety should always come first. Remember that there may be a time when you are the victim. There may be a time when you must turn down a request for assistance because you must take care of your family first. Ask if you can be put in a slot later down the roster to allow time to get your family to safety or have everything settled to ensure your family is cared for before deployment, said Johnston. ARRL recognizes the tremendous work ham radio volunteers put into serving their communities. If your mind is not on the mission, you may be putting yourself and others at risk. Therefore, you should ensure your family's well-being before, during, and after a major event, Johnson continued. Learn more how to become an ARES volunteer on the ARRL website, and you can learn more about how to keep your family safe at arrl.org. The ARRL September VHF contest will be held September 14th through the 16th from 1800 UTC on Saturday through 0259 UTC on Monday. All amateur frequencies above 50 megahertz may be used. The second weekend of the ARRL 10 gigahertz and up contest will be held the weekend of September 21st to the 23rd from 0900 UTC Saturday through 0759 UTC Monday, and any amateur band from 10 gigahertz through the light might be used. The VHF Fall Sprints, a series of single-band mini-contests sponsored by the Mount Airy VHF Club, will be held Tuesday, September 7th for 222 megahertz, on Wednesday, September 25th for 432 megahertz, and on Saturday, October 5th, 902 megahertz and above. And for more information, you can visit arrl.org/September-VHF. Remember, U.S. amateurs of all licensed classes may participate in these events. And with the change in the seasons, condition may be ripe for enhanced propagation on the VHF and UHF bands. ARRL Contest Program Manager Paul Bork, N1SFE, said cool nights and warm days create some unexpected propagation, especially near waterways and coastal areas. Tropospheric ducting is a primary form of propagation in the late summer and early fall. We may also see a little sporadic E, meteor scatter, or even aurora if we are lucky, said Bork. With good conditions, stations hundreds of miles away can be worked on 6 meters and up. Keep your eye on VHF propagation tools for when you might be able to expect enhanced propagation in your area. And do you need an antenna for 6 meters? Well, then consider the ARRL Mamu Beam antenna. It features a 10-meter Moxon, 28 megahertz, and a 6-meter Yagi, 50 megahertz. You can learn more at www.arrl.org/beam. The Battleship Iowa Amateur Radio Association, BIARA, will activate NI-6BB in memory of Operation Chromite, the Battle of Incheon in the Korean War, on September 15, 2024, from 0800 to 1600 Pacific Daylight Time, 1500 to 2300 UTC. Modes and frequencies will be shown on the BIARRA front page. Bands and modes activated will be dependent on propagation and BIARRA associate participation. QSL per instructions found on the BIARRA website as well. During the Korean War, 1,789,000 United States military personnel served in the Korean theater of operations, resulting in 137,250 casualties with 36,940 killed in action. There were 3,737 soldiers missing in action as well. The activation of NI-6BB will be to honor American veterans and their United Nations allies who served during the Korean War. The Reading Radio Club, RCC, in eastern Pennsylvania plans to make some history of its own with a special centennial event involving an iconic name recognized by railroad buffs around the world. The RCC will honor the 100th anniversary of the historic Reading Railroad with two special event stations on Saturday, September 21st, 2024. Club call signs W3BN and W3CCH will be on the air in two separate operations 25 miles apart. The day-long celebrations will see club members use W3CCH on HF stations set up inside two retired passenger railroad cars parked outside the Reading Railroad Heritage Museum in Hamburg, Pennsylvania. A separate group of club members and friends will use W3BN on two HF stations of longtime contester Steve Dobbs, NE3F, who's now a silent key, in Spring Township, Berks County, Pennsylvania. Dobbs was involved in the planning for the celebration using his station, an array of towers, beams, and wire antennas. He passed away August 30th, 2024, and it was his family's wishes that the event still proceed from N3F's QTH. Activity on all four HF radios will be on 10, 15, 20, 40, and 80 meters with frequent spots on the DX clusters. The Reading Railroad earned its place in history starting in the 1830s as a Philadelphia and Reading Railroad. Its network of tracks and trains was established to carry anthracite coal from the mines in northeastern Pennsylvania to the port in Philadelphia. More information about the celebrations can be found at either W3BN or W3CCH on QRZ.com. Bruce Page, KK5DO, is here now with this week's AMSAT report. Bruce?
Thanks, John. The FunCube data warehouse shut down on August 31st after a move to a virtual machine. The warehouse came back online September 3rd and is processing packets as usual. Dave, G4DPZ, says, FunCube 1 is now 11 years old and is operating in low-power telemetry mode with the transponder in order to manage the battery capacity. AMSAT DL's Ermanaz mission has been postponed until 2025. Rocket Factory Augsburg conducted a hot-fire test of the first stage rockets. 9 engines were ignited, and an anomaly caused a loss of the first stage. Fortunately, as this was only a test of the engines, there were no satellites involved. Thanks to AMSAT DL for this information. JAXA, Japan's National Air and Space Agency, has officially ended the SLIM mission. It was supposed to last only 1 lunar day. However, after landing in the wrong orientation, losing an engine bell, it still managed to survive for 3 lunar days. SLIM completed all pre-mission criteria. Another feather in their cap is that SLIM was the first lunar lander to successfully perform a pinpoint landing. It was within 10 meters of its selected landing site. Thanks to Orbital Index for this information. This is Bruce Page, KK5DO. Back to you, John.
And thanks, Bruce, for that report. In Radio Sport this week, more great contest on September 11th, the RSGB 80-meter Autumn Series, that's CW. September 14th and 15th, the WAE-DX contest, single sideband and phone there. September 14th, the Africa FT4DX contest, ST4. September 14th to the 16th, the ARRL VHF contests, CW phone and digital. September 15th, the North American Sprint, RIDI, that's digital as well. And on September 15th, the Bardig Sprint PSK 63 contest with PSK. And remember, you can visit the ARRL contest calendar for more events and information. Upcoming Section State and Division Convention, September 20th through the 22nd. It's the Duke City Hamfest, sponsoring the ARRL New Mexico State Convention in Albuquerque, New Mexico. September 21st and 22nd, the Midwest Superfest, sponsoring the ARRL Illinois Section Convention. That's in Chillicothe, Illinois. September 28th, the Red River Radio Amateurs Handfest, sponsoring the ARRL Dakota Division Convention. That's in West Fargo, North Dakota. And on October 5th, the Wichita Area Hamfest, sponsoring the ARRL Kansas State Convention. That's in Wichita, Kansas. And don't forget, you can search the ARRL Hamfest and Convention database to find events in your area. And finally this week, thanks to the Helena Amateur Radio Club in Helena, Arkansas, for airing the ARRL audio news on their repeater system. 73.
And that concludes ARRL Audio News for this week. Our thanks to all contributors to this week's report. ARRL Audio News is produced by the American Radio Relay League, the National Association for Amateur Radio. For more information on amateur radio or the ARRL, visit us on the web at arrl.org. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by searching for ARRL. If you have a question or comment about ARRL Audio News, email us at audionews@arrl.org. This program is copyright ARRL, all rights reserved. 73, and thanks for listening.